This world has been connected, tied to the darkness, soon to be completely eclipsed.
Hello there, Servum17 once again. This is my Kingdom Hearts final mix, proud difficulty walkthrough. We're about to enter Halloween Town, but this is the obligatory gummy ship moment just before we do. And for anybody that's not really enjoying these moments on this game and this is your first exposure to Kingdom Hearts, it's something that they did a lot better in the sequel. And it's one of those things where Square have openly said that, you know, Kingdom Hearts 2 is going to be coming in this form in the high-definition remixes of the Final Mix Edition with, I'm hoping, Birth by Sleep. And if I can get really greedy, I would love it to also port to Dream Drop Distance, but I highly doubt that. And when it does come, the gummy ship moments, you're probably not going to be looking forward to them. They're going to turn up, and I think a lot of people are going to be really surprised by what they did and how they changed them, because they really blew it out of the park for me. One thing that some people know, not everybody, is one of my favourite genres of games are the Danmaku shooters, the Japanese bullet hell shooters, which, you know, are essentially just a niche subgenre of the shoot-'em-up category that's often referred to as shmup. And those sections are essentially shmups. And I was a massive fan of Star Fox, I was a massive fan of Lilac Wars, I was a massive fan of I can't remember what the original Star Wars game was back on the Commodore, which was essentially a first-person version of that game. Even though it was just green and black and you couldn't really see much. But it's a really fun genre that's simple and that's not really being done that often these days. So when it is done, it's kind of rare, and I think there's a lot of life in, you know, mixing genres into games. Like, look at Grand Theft Auto 5. At this moment in time, it's reigning supreme with sales and things because they make really good games. It is a really good game, and for all its merits, it's not really one game. It's all different games put together into something where none of them are essentially, you know, the best, the masterclass on how to do this one thing. But what they are the sum of their parts. They're how to do all these things at such a competent level that they all come together in this amalgamation of something truly great. And don't get me wrong, there's probably people who couldn't care less about Grand Theft Auto because they're not their kind of game. But even those people have to admit that Grand Theft Autos are sandbox done right. They are sandbox that, you know, if you like those kind of games, that is the Adonis of that kind of game. It is an archetype almost now. It's set the paradigm for it. And they have all those different gameplays in them, some that people don't even touch. And you're able to do that, and you're able to have those choices while still, you know, focusing on this character-driven story, and they do it in a very wide scope. And the thing that I really liked about Kingdom Hearts was the fact that it was able to be this Disney mix, this, you know, Final Fantasy RPG kind of mix, this action, you know, focus, and then at the same time it has these silly mini-games that some of them are not great, but most of them are competent at least. And then the gummy ship, which is a complete left turn into shoot-'em-up territory that not a lot of people see and not a lot of people liked on this one. And then there's a whole, you know, gummy creation stuff where you can make your gummy ship essentially how you would like it to be. You can make it a beast at performance, you can make it look really good but probably be absolutely shit. You can not touch it at all if you don't like it because it's quite a confusing interface. You're given a lot of choices, and it's something that I think really helps break the game up, because when you're getting a little bit annoyed of smashing heartless, killing bosses, jumping around and things, you go to this next world and you're doing these fantastical shooting sections that, you know, kind of copy-paste, kind of tie-dye and really, you know, not necessarily great. And then the second one turns them into something fantastic, and I really believe in that kind of thing. And one of the games I think that did it fantastically was Bayonetta. And it's difficult to hear my thoughts on Bayonetta these days because my very first walkthrough on YouTube was Bayonetta, and I had to audio swap it to get a partnership with TGN, which I might as well tell this story because the people watching the Kingdom Hearts videos are generally fans of the channel and fans of the game and the nostalgia, so you've already played it and you don't need me to tell you that the White Knights that I'm just killing there, when they jump up in the air, as they land, they do a spin attack that does massive damage, and they're extremely dangerous and versatile and difficult to kill. You already probably know this, and on proud difficulty, they're a little bit tougher, so you want to just play intelligently. At this point, your team is strong enough to take this area. I in fact found Halloween Town to be very easy, and the boss, Oogie Boogie, is another boss that if you know what you're doing, he's easy too. But when I was getting a partnership to hopefully build my channel, because I have aspirations of having a bigger channel, getting my content out to a wider audience, and being able to focus and make better videos because of that. And one of the steps that I really worked hard, towards achieving was a partnership. And a lot of people really don't understand the benefit of a partnership, because it's not that transparent of what they help you do or what they smoothen over. And anyone who has a partnership and who's aware of how YouTube works already knows the ins and outs of this. This is pretty much a boring, well-trod topic. But for people that don't understand it, you have your person that thinks the only reason people do it is for money, which is a large percentage of people. You have your other person who thinks, you're selling out your creative artistic merit because your integrity's gone because you're going through this other company, and see post number 1, you're going back to this money thing, people just want the coin. They don't really know what the technical advantages to it are, and a lot of people don't see the point. They think, if you really do enjoy doing what you're doing, then you would do it with no money and no partnership anyway and just continue. Well, that is a valid observation for some people, but it's also a very naive perspective, because the only way to build on YouTube is to constantly progress. It's to constantly keep hitting these milestones, to constantly keep increasing and getting, more prosperous. And the only way to do this are to take some big steps, and some of them are looked down upon, as most things are in any kind of pursuit. And there are some of them that I personally won't look into doing. For instance, you will never see me advertise on someone else's video about my video, because I don't agree with it. I think it's rude. I think it's exceptionally rude. But at the same time, will it get you some views? Hell yes. Will it get you some subscribers? Yeah, sure, maybe, if you do it long enough and hard enough, but they're usually not the subscribers that you want. Things like going to bigger channels to get shoutouts, or paying for shoutouts, which is another one, paying to be advertised. The whole notion of sub for sub that you don't see anymore. I don't agree with any of that. I get messages maybe 1 to 10 a week, sometimes less, of people saying, I like your channel, I subscribed, you should do the same to me. Like, I'm obligated to subscribe back just because they've given me a subscription. And I always say the same thing here, guys, as my entire team gets killed by White Knights, and I'm trying to focus on this dude here. But you'll notice I do have the Sonic, I think it's Sonic Blade, which is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. This guy keeps parrying me, as you just saw. So I've got this under control. I have heal if I need to use it, but a lot of the times I don't really like healing all that much, because it just kind of detracts from what you're doing. I like to take a few risks when I play Kingdom Hearts, just to make it a little bit more exciting. But I've always made it clear that I only subscribe to channels I want to watch. There are plenty of channels I watch that I'm not subscribed to, and there are good reasons for this. It's not because I don't want to support the person or I don't believe in the person, it's just because I am not hungry to watch their content. But I still do. A great example of this is DSP. I'm not subscribed to DSP, but every so often I go on his channel and I have a nice little binge because I do enjoy certain things that he does. It's a fantastic example of this. And same with the people subscribed to me. I never feel an obligation to get this reciprocity from them. I don't think that there's a contract that's been made. The puzzle here is a pretty simple memory game. You only have to do it once, and it's only, I think, 3 or 4 notions. So just press them in the order that the ghost appeared, and you will do this pretty simple puzzle, and then you can go all the way back to the professor and progress on Halloween Town. But I'll never understand this notion of I give you a favour, now you do me a favour, to people I don't know. YouTube is this thing where I create videos for myself, and I put them out on the internet to help others. Sure, that is one of the main reasons for this. I make tutorials and I make helpful walkthroughs to help the average gamer get through a difficult section on a game. Sometimes the gameplay is enough, so I'll talk about other things, which definitely adds a more entertainment spin on my channel, because it's not all focused on gameplay, and that is a personal choice. But I do it for me, guys. As much as I love the people who love my channel and feel like they're a valid part of it, which they 100% are, I do it for me. It's an entirely selfish reason. At the same time, there are these mutual relationships that build up from it, because you do get fans, you do get friends, you do get close to people that enjoy what you do, and there is that back and forth in that. And those people, you know, I will gladly do favours for. The people who've shown their support, I consider them friends. But a lot of people are silent parties, and it might not be because they don't like what someone is doing. It might just because they're not the person who wants to make themselves known. You know, there's a lot of humble folk, there's a lot of people that don't want attention, that just want to enjoy what someone's doing. And these people don't expect anything. They just are grateful that people are putting content up. And the whole notion of YouTube is, you know, you do what you want to do, you put this content up, and if other people like it, that's this awesome, you know, synchronicity that happens. There's no demand, there's no footnote, it shouldn't work like that. And those ways to build channels, for me, I think are entirely flawed, and they're why I don't partake in them. But you can't deny that some of them are successful. You know, the booby thumbnails, the misleading titles, the inappropriate tags, inappropriate categorization when that used to be a thing. You know, imitating the successful channels by sticking your face and a funny expression on every thumbnail you've done. You know, playing the popular games, playing the games that a lot of younger folks are watching, the hip crew. I don't really know what you would refer to it as to me, I just look at them as like fucking idiots, but that's just a personal thing, you know. I've never really been someone who wants to do what everyone else is doing. That's just not been me. I've always kind of done my own thing. And even when I look into a game like Amnesia and Machine for Pigs, where there's probably a lot of people who think, whoa, you're only playing that because these big guys play it and get all these views and that. It's really not the case. I wasn't even playing the game for the fear element of it, because, to be completely honest, I didn't find the game scary. I thought it had a really good atmosphere and it was really tense, but fear in a game is something I find really difficult for the simple notion of it's a game, you know. And that to me is the ultimate destroyer of immersion. But there are a lot of ways to build a channel and to progress. And bringing it back to the point I was making, the partnership angle is a major step for any channel, because it helps with the copyright claims, and that's the thing that not a lot of people understand. A lot of people will put in their video that, you know, this is, I do not own this, it has nothing to do with me, and they think it gives them immunity, which is incredibly fucking stupid, because it doesn't. When there is written legislation somewhere saying that if you use whatever this product is in some other form or media and then try to derive profit from it, you are breaking a law. It doesn't matter if you put in wording that I don't own it, I'm just, you know, doing this and this and this. And there are fair use terms that can be used and are valid if used correctly, but you have to understand them. And just by saying I do not own this song does not give you the right to use that song. And that's just a lot of people not really understanding the notion of copyright law. But what happens when you make these videos is there's an automatic system at place on YouTube that logs things in games that it deems, you know, to be sensitive issues. If it's a copyrighted sequence, if it's something that, you know, it's been flagged. Because at the end of the day, what you've got to look at it like is you've got to look at it as YouTube and Google are businesses. They make money. They make money off of people making videos, and they add revenue that they put on there. And if they were to make money off of someone else's copyrighted content, that is a law that they can then find themselves in a lawsuit over. They can be sued because they're profiting over someone else's property. And it's illegal. So they've got to try and flag this out as much as they can, and unfortunately their machine is extremely anal and rampant at picking things that aren't necessarily copyright and are, you know, in accordance to fair usage, but because the rules there's so much tape everywhere on these rules and footnotes and like subjecture that it can be difficult to find out where you stand. And for a channel that's not got any kind of support or any kind of network with them, it's very difficult to get monetization added to videos. It takes a long time because you're a low priority unless you're, you know, Tobuscus or somebody. And if you do get a copyright ID or a copyright match, it means that you can't sometimes unlist the video, because I upload videos and I unlist them so I can reveal them to my audience when I need to, you know, when they suit me best, so I can make sure that you get content on a reliable note. And I physically can't do that if I have a content match on until it's resolved. And you have no control over these resolvements because they take so long to happen. And one of the big things that you get from having a partnership is that it's so much swifter, it's so much more streamlined, because you represent a much bigger portion of this incredibly huge pie that you didn't have before. And that is super important. And I'm going to follow this tangent on in the next video, guys. I do apologise if you're not interested. It's just something that I'm interested in at this moment to share. So thanks for watching, and you take care now.